Alright, we got everything? Oh, of course. Here comes the text. See, they already know the show's coming up. I know, I'll get to you guys here in just one sec. Just one sec. Here we go.
Live.
Oh, no. Not yet. Yeah, we did it right. Alright.
Live.
From the Queen City studio.
With the Deacon live.
Right now. Ready? Yes.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, what are we going to do with all these abandoned buildings? Where were you 10 years ago, and what did you look like? And CBS is calling out all racist people on their show. And is it hot enough for you out there? And if I hear that one more time, I'm going to, I don't know, beat the shit out of someone. Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Proper Radio. My name is the Deacon, and make sure you give us... Oh, that was the end of the thing. We fucked all that up. I'm gonna start over. I know, this is riveting. Well, if you guys are watching the under the tent thing, we've set up a new thing here, so you guys will enjoy this a little bit more. And I appreciate all you guys watching us and oh no, this camera's on. And watching us instead of Netflix. Our numbers have gone up completely crazy because you guys are listening to us and watching this on under the tent. So I'm gonna start that whole segment over, and no one will be the wiser except for you listening or watching this on under the tent.
Live.
From the Queen City studio.
With the Deacon live.
Right now. Ready? Yes.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, what are we going to do with all these abandoned buildings? What were you doing 10 years ago? CBS is calling out all racism on its shows, and is it hot enough for you out there? Boy, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that line, right? You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Proper Radio. Give us a call at the station anytime at 407-448-8800. Text us live at any time at that same number. We are in the Queen City studio just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. Delicious. You know what's funny? It's weird when you talk for a living and you don't talk all day long. I mean, literally, I have a conversation with my wife in the morning, and then, she goes off and does her things, and then I literally, do my day's activities around the ranch and stuff, and then I go to, the store, the grocery store, and I got my headphones in, I'm listening to, news reports and all this stuff, and all the information, and compiling it in my brain, my small little brain, and to bring, to put it on, and I don't talk to anyone. I don't talk to anyone at all, other than, excuse me, sorry. Now, granted, the headphones in my ears doesn't help, but for the most part, when you haven't talked all day, it's like being an athlete. You need to, lift weights and pump and push weights around. Talking's the same way. I mean, you see singers, for the most part, me. Actually, this morning I was singing to my wife about the bacon and eggs I was making this morning, which was we make bacon and eggs. We make bacon and eggs. She's like, you're crazy. I'm going to work. See you later. All right, so there you go. How are you guys doing? How's everyone doing? Are you, oh, Jesus, oh, God. And one thing I like to do, as we always do, is the big stretch. Arms above the head. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then there you go. So welcome to Deacon Live. This is our, we do a weekly podcast, and I'm shortening it up as much as I can. I try to do it on a 5 to 6 day rotation, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that I do behind the scenes here that's just not the podcast. We have a tube. We got a tube. I have a channel on YouTube, and there's a lot of videos that I post up there, so make sure you just search Deacon Live. There's another thing that's kind of exciting I'm going to get into that's going to involve a live feed. And right now I'm having a problem with one thing talking to the live feed connection. And so as soon as I figure that out, there'll be a lot more of that going. I've got a lot of stuff recorded, but I want the live feed to work as well. So I'm working on that. And then, of course, bad calls. We had a doozy the other day. It was horrible. But these are bad calls, and what bad calls is just the robocalls, the telemarketer calls that call into the station. And if to hear some of those, go to profitradio.com and become a member of the Profit Radio and the Deacon Live site, and just sign up for that. Little as $1 a day, or $1 a month, which is cheaper than Netflix, and you can see all the YouTube channels or YouTube videos. Boy, I'm getting everything wrong today, aren't I? Ain't I? Isn't it, Ernest? Oh well, there you go. So I made a funny, for those of you who follow me on Facebook, I made a funny. I said we were talking, my wife and I, our conversation in the morning, and we were the news report was saying something about diverticulitis, and I said, well, diverticulitis, and I just kind of sat there and I go, my wife goes, there's a difference between diverticulitis and diverticulosis. The alosis is the disease, and the itis is the actual action of the disease. And I said, okay, and I kind of sat there and listened to the news report, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like going, I said, it sounds like the fear of being tickled underwater is what diverticulitis. So, and she's like, no, it's the polyps in your intestines and stuff. And it's serious, it's very serious. I know several people that have it, mothers, daughters, friends, and family members that have it. I'm not making fun of the disease. I'm just making fun of the way it sounds. And so I posted that up there, and all the followers on Facebook got a kick out of that. So, and one thing you are going to get a kick out of, guys, ladies, gentlemen, Deacon Live's going on the road again. Yep, we have signed up for several shows in your state. And what state is that? Well, we can be in any state at any given time. But right now we've got a 6-day tour that's going to happen in New York. That's right, we're going to be in the beautiful state of New York, and we'll be up in the Long Island area. We have some great friends of ours, some fans, some listeners of ours, and we usually go there to kind of start their fall push, getting into fall and getting into the changing of the weather. And so they all have these little festivals, these little gatherings, big sales and stuff. So Deacon Live will be out there in the Long Island area. So for details on all that, make sure you email me, deacon@profitradio.com, or just make sure you follow, subscribe, and do all that stuff to make sure that you can find out where we are. And if you see us in the airport, oh, excuse me. Oh, 2 of them. And if you see us in the airport, I don't know. The only way you'd have to pick us out is if you watch the video or you're following us anywhere. I'm not going to walk around with a sign that says "I'm Deacon Live," but yep, we'll be in Bankards. There's a restaurant facility. Actually, it's a bakery, and they're rolling out their big pumpkin spice push thing. So we're rolling out. I know it's like cutting. What's the athletes, the washed up athletes that are cutting like ribbons at car lots, and cut, But these are great friends of ours. So they're hiring Deacon Live to go out there and do a live broadcast at Bankards Bakery while they roll out their Halloween specials, their pumpkin spice, their big push for that. We'll probably be at the the White Castle, and there are several different other locations that will be there up in Long Island starting next week. So follow us, make sure you do all that stuff as well. And, before I start the show, and like I was saying, I was listening to all the stuff, all the news feeds and everything that's going on Facebook, and listening to all this and all that. And I was trying to think, I don't want to, if this is your first time listening to Deacon Live, and by the way, I just would like to say that our spike in the Los Angeles area, we appreciate each and every one of you. If you watch our spikes, or you can't watch our spikes, but when I look at the stats, the reports and stuff like that, we've seen the numbers double and triple in the Los Angeles area. So whatever you guys are doing out there, spreading the word, we love you. You can set up some time, and we'll come out there and do the same thing for your area as well. We'll set up and do some live shows. So just all you got to do is just email me at deacon@profitradio.com. And speaking of emails, I was opening one of my emails the other day, or going through my email list. You know how sometimes I've got a personal email and then I've got the business email. And my personal email, I got, you get junk mail and junk mail and junk mail. And one of them I still get emails from is LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah, LinkedIn. You remember those guys? LinkedIn. I guess it was billed to be like a business hiring. I'm a professional person, and here's my profile. It's kind of like Facebook in its very simplest form. Like, you can't really post a whole lot of stuff. News feeds are really limited as far as, links and stuff. You can do personal stuff as far as, hey, I changed jobs, or I'm doing this. Here's a photo of me. Here's an upcoming event. But it's really, really basic. It's like Facebook, like I said, in its very basic form. There's not a whole lot of advertising on there. Usually it's like Career Builder, or what's the other one out there? Monster.com. Any of those, in Need or Indeed, or whatever the one place company that's coming up and doing great work, from my understanding. And then Glassdoor, of course, if you want to see how much everyone's making. But I got an email from someone that I don't know, I clicked, and she's a high school friend, and she's one of those motivational, not gurus, but just one of those motivational people. Well, who am I to say? I was going to say she's just someone who just talks to people and makes them feel better. As I'm wording that sentence in my mind, I'm like going, well, I kind of do the same thing. And but she, kind of shot myself in the tongue on that one. But she does, how to increase your life and your value, your personal net worth, and your emotional net worth, and all that. And so she sends out the email, and I saw it. I'm like going, oh, look, I'm still on her mailing list. And that's one thing we don't do here at DeaconLive. We don't do mailing lists. If you're not, who checks emails other than, people that are in business, that are on LinkedIn, I guess. I don't know. But I check my emails just if I ordered something. Top 3 things I check my email. You ready? If I've ordered something, or my mom has emailed me something, or of course I get the radio email, but that's a separate thing that I do. A personal email. And then that's ordered something to track it. My mom, and then you know what I do for myself? If I see articles or funny news stories or pictures and stuff, I'll email it to myself. So when I sit up here in the Queen City studio, I can go back through it. I don't have to sit there and it all goes to one place. So that's what I do there. So there you go. But I was listening to the news feeds on all, several different locations. I get several different sources and stuff, and everything's the same thing. Everything's the same thing. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to go ahead and burn through this, because I know it's like 5 seconds. Because I was kind of thinking of, what can DeaconLive bring you that you haven't heard already? And we like to be a little special, a little unique. So I'm just going to kill a couple minutes talking about the top 5 things that have happened this week in the news. And maybe what's funny? Maybe there'll still be a new segment, because it's funny, because my wife, once the podcast is up and posted and stuff, we usually sit on the back porch of the French, sometimes we'll have a little fire, we'll have a glass of wine, and we'll listen to the podcast. I listen to my podcast back at least 5 or 6 times, and I'm your own worst critic. So, and some of the stories that I mentioned that I assume everyone knows, she's like, oh, I never knew that. Oh, I never knew that. So you never know who your audience is as far as stories and stuff. But these are the top five stories from this past week. When we come back, I'll get into those and get into some other crazy stuff that's been going on here at the French. You're listening to DeaconLive right here on Prof Radio. Stick around. I'll be right back. Now, for those of you that are watching us under the tent, this is our new... if you're watching on, I guess switch screens, I guess. Well, I guess you can't. Yeah, you can. You can see this. So this is my new little logo and thing I've got going on here. The news feed, all the contact information is up here at the top. Of course, that's me down here. And then our this is where we go to break. So when you see this, it gives you all our stuff as far as going to break. So hope you guys enjoy it. I tried to update it so it's not so stagnant. That's what I want to say, stagnant. So let me move some stuff around and we'll come back from break. How's that sound? Good? All right. You gotta mark some stuff off. Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. Give us a call anytime at 407-448-8800 right here in the Queen City studio located in Marshville, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, I was talking about the headlines, top 5 headlines from this past week, but before I get into that, I was talking about LA as well. And our our listening audience has doubled, if not almost tripled, in LA. And I just like to thank all you guys out there for spreading the word of Deacon Live. And we are going up to New York the week of, the 12th. So we'll be up there from October 12th to the 19th. And don't worry, there'll be a podcast, several live feeds and stuff. So make sure you follow us and do all the social networks and stuff that we do here on Deacon Live. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I got a email from one gentleman that listens to us all the time, and he says, I've missed your show. I got to get caught up on your show. And he's like, I'm so excited. I'm going to be out of service for like 3 weeks. And I'm like, emailing back, out of service. And he said, I'm having shoulder surgery, which is very hard to say. And I'll be out of commission for like 2 to 3 weeks. And he's like, now I can get caught up on all your shows. And by all means, he's like, I'm excited about it. He goes, I get to listen to you uninterrupted. And he's an over the road, or not over the road. He's one of those a local driver, like drives a big truck and stuff. So he can't really listen to a whole lot of stuff. He's got to focus on the road outside of, the radio station, regular radio stations and stuff. But he can't listen to podcasts and stuff. So now he can, and so we wish him well. We wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope he enjoys the last couple weeks of shows and upcoming weeks of shows that he's going to be involved in or be part of, which is great. It's always good. Spread the word. Now, spreading the word, we're going to do the top 5 news reports or news feeds or news whatever. I don't know what I'm going to call this thing, but it's the top 5 things that you've been beaten in your head for the last week. You ready? All right. Number 1, the impeachment of Donald Trump. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Not going to happen. Don't know. The woman in Dallas who actually shot the guy, went into what she thought her apartment, shot the guy while the verdict came up, and she's getting 10 years. And a lot of people are unhappy about that. They said, that's not enough. A lot of people are very upset about that because people have done lesser and gotten more for it. So she got 10 years in jail. The lady dancing in front of the lion, she thought it would be cute. I forget what zoo this was at. She jumped the fence, started doing an Instagram post, Instagram live feed, whatever it is, and was dancing in front of this lion and could have easily been ripped apart. Oh, yeah, she's out there. Tekashi 69, if you don't know who this guy is, he's the one with the rainbow color hair and the big 6 and 9 on his face. Well, he's been sitting in court, squealing on all of his quote-unquote sub-gang community, whoever he's related to as far as gang-related activities, giving them all up so he doesn't go to jail. And it's kind of like that witness protection. Hey, if you give up everyone, we'll protect you. And so he was talking all about, drug dealing and stuff. That's why you see the memes that come through of him squealing on everyone, because he just basically just opened up his book and said, all right, here you go, let's go. And the one thing, the most recent thing that's come up, oops, don't fall over. The most recent thing came up is Universal Studios Orlando. Are you familiar with Despicable Me? And I forget what the main guy, the guy with the big pointy nose that Steve Carell plays. Gear, I forget what it is. But it's a costume, so a guy's wearing a costume or a woman's wearing the costume and is posing in front of or posing with a child at the park. And for whatever reason, I don't know how this happened, but and if you're watching under the tent, the live YouTube feed, it's the OK symbol. Like, hey, OK is now racist for whatever reason. I don't know how that started. They saw a group of skinheads literally, I guess, going to the camera, okay, like I'm okay. And they considered that racist now. You can read anything into it. And so the guy was fired from Universal Studios, the guy in the character outfit, because he rested an OK symbol on the child who's actually black on its shoulder, listen to me, on the child's shoulder, while the mother was taking a picture of it, and then didn't realize it until later when she looked at the photo and stuff. So, racist OK symbol on the child, the guy from Despicable Me at Universal Studios. So, that's it. That's the top 5 things that I have right there. And I'll put music bed behind it and stuff. But I mean, you've been bombarded with all this news, all these stories like day after day, and your news feed, and then you get everyone on your Facebook news feed that wants to fight and bicker and all this stuff. To me, it's not worth it. I mean, you could say, here's the way I look at people's opinion on Facebook as far as all these, and we take pride in not being a political and not being a religious podcast. But this is my opinion about when I see that. It doesn't bother. I mean, it bothers me personally. It does bother me when I see these repost and people's opinions on that, and then that's fine. It's kind of like saying I don't like strawberries, and some people go, you know what, I don't like strawberries either. Well, why don't you like strawberries? Well, I don't like picking them, or they're too hard to grow, or they don't keep long, or my biggest thing was the little seeds get stuck in my teeth, and I don't like. Same thing with raspberries, same thing with blackberries, all the little the seeds somewhere get stuck in my teeth, so I don't like to eat them too much. Well, that's ridiculous. Well, what do you mean? It affects. That's the way it affects me. I don't like the seeds. I don't sit there and go, everyone should not eat blackberries and stuff because it gets seeds in your teeth, and the seeds in your teeth could cause gum, inflammation and blah blah blah. So I just say, I don't say anything. Would you like some strawberries? Oh no, I'm fine. Okay, good. Go on about your day. I know. I laugh at myself most of the time because I hear my wife, because like I said, we listen to the podcast back. Well, I'll listen to it 5 times before I let her listen to it. But I can just see her going, what are you, really? So I know that the stuff I say makes her laugh and makes her question me, and that's how we have a beautiful relationship. My wife and I. So there, I know, sappy. So when we come back, I'm going to take a short little break here after we burn through that. I'm going to take a short little break here and just think about 10 years ago from today, and your social activity compared to then and now. And I've noticed a streak just in my personal fan base, my personal news feed itself, and the people I know, and I kind of watch it and I'm like going, oh, and I just kind of go, well, I haven't heard from this person, I haven't seen anything from this person for a while. So when we come back, I'm gonna dive into that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Now, this is where we take a break. Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, and the way you find that is to search for Deacon Live, all one word, Deacon Live, and put podcasts in there as well. If you can't find us, we should be on there. It depends on how your cookies and your logarithm is all set up. Made up word. And Deacon Live, all one word, and then podcast, and you can find under the tent all the video and stuff that we have here live from the studio. And I say live, it's recorded, but there's nothing really done. I mean, the breaks just kind of shorten them a little bit. Anyway, so I'm digressing here. So we were talking about racism on that last news story that's come out just recently, where the guy was doing the OK symbol. One thing that I don't know if you guys have watched Big Brother. My wife and I are we're a huge Big Brother fan. Let's put it that way, because you can't say I'm a Big Brother fan, because it sounds like you have problems when you say stuff. So we're huge Big Brother fans. We watch it. We wait for it every and we wait for it every summer. And my wife wants me to do it. My wife wants me. They're accepting applications right now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fill out the application for Big Brother 22, and we'll see what happens. I'll post a video, my audition video and stuff, because I think you do have to do like a audition video and stuff. So I gotta write that down, because she'll make. Did you fill out the thing yet? Big Brother 22 audition, right there. Audition, and get that done as soon. I gotta find out the deadline, because I don't know if I got time before we go to New York. DeaconLive goes to New York or not. So CBS does if you're not familiar with Big Brother, I'll just kind of break it down to its simplest form. They have 20 some odd people in the house, and they do a challenge, and then the head guy who wins the challenge is called head of household. So that person can nominate 2 roommates to get out. It's kind of like a big college roommate thing. So, and then those 2 people sit on the block, and then they do another challenge for someone to win that challenge to take one of those 2 people off the block and put someone else on. It's kind of like, oh, those are your friends? Well, I won the thing, and I want my friend up there and your friend. Anyways, they get voted out, and it all goes down to one last person. A lot of gameplay, a lot of strategic stuff, a lot of alliances. They come up with crazy names and stuff. So anyways, the winner of this one, Big Brother 21 just wrapped up, and the winner of this one really got into the hot seat for, I guess, stuff that he said, stuff that he did, the way he treated people, the way he talked about people. And keep in mind, this is Big Brother is live at all times. There's cameras all over the place, and what they do is they have a small little segment for the 1-hour show that they do at least once or twice a week, and they just take snippets of all the live feed in the house. So the cameras are rolling at all times, and you could literally log on to bigbrother.com and pay, I think it's like $9.95 a month, and you can watch the live feed at all times. And then of course the producers chop it up and they make it, there was a fight here, there was a fight there, but for the most part, everyone's just laying around. Everyone's just laying around, doing their stuff, and then they're like, okay, you need to be up and running around and doing this stuff. Anyway, so for the most part, conversations happen off the air that we don't see, and the producers see it, and they capture it, and they were saying that the guy who won was racist. He was saying a bunch of stuff. So here is here's a little story about that.
Say that first clip.
Okay.
The other guy, Jack, says the N-word.
Okay.
So yeah, so people are just saying that Jackson never said anything back to him when he did say that word. I get the names screwed up too.
Right,
yeah,
right. Okay.
So Julie Chen confronted him about this after the jury voted, before the winner was revealed. She pointed out that on day 1, he banished 4 house guests, 3 of which were minorities.
But some viewers thought you did it because Jessica, David, and Kemi are minorities, and that you chose Cliff because he is the oldest house guest. What would you like to say to your critics?
Absolutely not.
So I'm looking at him now. If you look at him, he looks like country white bread boy. If someone says, "Hey, look at Big Country over there," it's a square chin, square jaw, country shirt, white. I don't know if he's got blue eyes or brown eyes, but brown hair, brown eyes. Big country boy. He's what we call him, Big Country. If you look at a white guy from the Midwest, and listen to his answer, because for those of you out there who, let's say, for example, I know I've said some not mean. I think about it. I've said some mean things to people before in my whole entire life. You're young, you're old, you say mean things, and you learn and you adapt and you change. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that have said that. Comedians and I don't want to say whatnot. Comedians have been found, past Twitter stuff, have said mean things about whether it be race or homosexuality and all that stuff, and they've been called on it. Now, he is responding, face to face, he's being accused right here on live TV, and just listen to his response and see if you believe what he actually says in his response.
I'm not racist, and this was a decision. The only time Kimmy ever talked to me was when I was showering. She was brushing
Now, Kimmy's a black woman in the show.
her teeth, and this is all based on first impressions. The three people that raised their hands exemplified strength and courage and maturity and what looks like a sense of responsibility for the house. And if they had the ability to raise their hands and stand up, I figured if I should do the same.
So what he was talking about is a challenge that they had. Now, after literally right after he won the $500,000, he was not happy. He came off the stage and he looked at his mom and dad, and the mics, the music is playing and stuff, and he looks at his mom and dad and go, "I'm not racist." You could read his lips on the end of the finale there, and you can hear them say, "We know that, we know that." Now, the reporter from E Entertainment in Canada caught up with him right after he got off the stage. So, this is literally right after he got off the stage.
Who you are,
I respect,
and how you're feeling right
I
now.
respect women more than anything, and I'm one of the least racist, if not the least racist people I've ever met. I know.
So, I'm not racist, or I'm the least racist. So, what he's saying there is a little bit of racist?
That I was abrasive with Kat, but it was very matter of fact. I was never condescending to her or trying to belittle her in any way, shape, or form. It's because I heard things on a game level, and it upset me on a game level. The way I handled it was aggressive, and I've apologized to her about that on numerous occasions in the house. We've made amends, we've split apart, we've made amends, we split apart. We're like siblings. We bicker, but especially.
He said bicker, by the way, for those to keep track at home.
With women, I'm a mama's boy. I respect my mom and other women more than anything, and I am never going to say anything degrading to them or about race, especially. And the fact that that was considered is disheartening. I hate that that is a thing nowadays, but I know the reason why I made the decisions I did, and it was never about any of those factors.
Okay. Before you go, I could tell that you look a little bit distraught. I could see that you look distraught right now. I hope that when you leave, you could see how things could have been taken a certain
Right.
way.
Absolutely.
And that, and that you could learn and grow from it.
Absolutely.
And I think you are.
So now here's the thing. The reporter is now giving her job is to report. Now, granted, if she wants to go on a side note or sidekick on a soapbox of her very own, this is not the opportunity to do it. Now, the woman that's interviewing her or him is a black woman. So now she's starting to put in her opinions on it, which should be totally left out of this.
You are a person that's open to stuff like that, and you are self-aware, and you are trying to be
100%.
self-aware. And
I have a lot of growing to do.
Yeah.
I just turned 24 before moving in. I have it far from figured out, and I understand completely where those things were coming from. It was
All right, so the reporter there had an agenda. So there you go. That's and they called him. They literally called him out. Right there, live TV, and they were like, bombashed him right there on TV. Hey, by the way, and you won $500,000. How do you feel? And he's like going, well, shit. I feel like shit because, I won $500,000, but now I can't. I was going to do all this, whatever he was going to do with $500,000. If it was me, single guy like him in his mid-20s, I'd party, buy a bunch of stuff, and do all these things. But now you've got $500,000, and you're notable, your face is recognizable, and you want to go party and stuff. Well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people looking for you if they think you're racist, and I'm sure that went through his mind. So that's what happened on the Big Brother. It's and the whole thing with Julie Chen. Her husband was accused of the whole Me Too movement. Her husband who's one of the head guys at CBS, got pulled into that as well. And she was always Julie Chen. I'm Julie Chen. Hi, I'm Julie Chen. And then her response to that, her standing by her husband was, I am Julie Chen Moonves. She used her whole entire name, saying that, look, that's my husband and I'm supporting him. So, is that a double-edged sword, or is that a contradicted of, her husband was accused of being a, molestation of women or not abusing of women, but being sexually conduct of women, and then they turn around and push all this back on him, on Jackson Mickey, who won the Big Brother finale. I mean, that's kind of like a double. That's kind of shady, if you think about it, Anyways. It's so much fun watching all these little talking heads doing all their little talking things. When we come back, you've been following what's been going on in the brick and mortar stores. There's a lot of things going by the wayside, and quicker than you know it. And I'm going to get into what I think's happening with it and why it's happening. Not that I have anything to say about it, but for the most part, we'll dive into that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Do I think he's racist? No, but I think he was raised in a culture, an area where he wasn't living in Iowa. Let's say living in Idaho, and then living in downtown Chicago. There's a sense of, what do you call it? Expectations. There's a cultural difference there, So I don't know. Is he racist? Not that he's racist. I think he's ignorant, which I guess is a great way to describe that. He's just ignorant. As far as the way from other people, I mean, you got 20 some odd people from all over the world, or all over the United States, and you're living with them for, I think it's 100 and some odd days. So there you go. Cross that off. Ready? Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The only thing I do on Twitter is I post the videos and stuff. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do that, and you can get the videos immediately through, if you guys are Twitter, subscribers, or if you have a Twitter account. It's kind of like LinkedIn. It's it's there if you need it. Oh, you're on LinkedIn? Never said, oh, you're on LinkedIn? Oh, look at this guy. He's fancy. No, it doesn't work that way. But kind of like Twitter's the same way, even though people, I think their numbers have grown just because of the president. Tweets out all the time, which is weird in itself that a president would have that much access to social media at any given time. So, Thanksgiving, the holidays are coming around. Have you gotten your Christmas lights up yet? We're getting ready to, when we get back from our New York tour, we're getting ready to, we're going to have a get-together here, just some local families and friends and stuff in our local little community here in Marshville. But, one thing that we do is, and on Thanksgiving, is the next holiday coming up, is I know ever since I've known my wife, which is 13, 14 plus years now, we always have Thanksgiving dinner, and then her and her dad would either look through the papers on, Thanksgiving night, and then first thing Thanksgiving morning, that Friday, Black Friday, is go out and do the shopping and stuff. Well, there's a lot of places that are closing down just for Thanksgiving. There's a lot of places, normally they'd open like Sunday hours. So a retail store on Sunday would close at like 6. Now a lot of places are closing down altogether on Thanksgiving. And the reason, I think, my own personal opinion, is because a lot of people have gotten so much flack. The internet has given them so much flack, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter again, whether it be just regular news feed, of all these companies that are saying, no, we're staying open because we want your almighty dollar, and so we make our employees work. So a lot of people were protesting that, I think last year, if not last year, the year before, about companies. Let me switch back. About companies staying open and, let your family enjoy Thanksgiving. Well, here in this is the list so far of 2019 of the stores that are right now are going to be closed on Thanksgiving Day. You ready? Academy of Sports and Outdoors, Ace Hardware, BJ's. All the BJ's are, and if you don't know what BJ's are or is, it's kind of like a Costco. It's a Sam's Club. It's a big wholesale club. Guitar Center, Hobby Lobby, Home Goods, Lowe's is a big one. Marshall's, Petco, Sam's Club, like I was saying, TJ Maxx, and True Value. Going to, in the works, going to be closed on Thanksgiving Day is going to be like Dillard's, Nordstrom, Harbor Freight, Home Depot, which was a big thing. And I've got 20 years experience working at Home Depot, and we always were open on Thanksgiving. And it was dead. As soon as 12 o'clock, between 12 and 3, store was dead. You could roll a bowling ball down the aisle, you wouldn't hit anything. IKEA is going to be closed. Pier 1, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, so all your wireless carriers are going to be closed. The Container Store, which I would think they would really be open so you can get all your leftover stuff. Oh, I'm out of Tupperware. And you go to the Container Store. If you ever been to that store, it's crazy. Crazy. They literally like boxes and Tupperware and containers. It's a container store. It's ridiculous. PetSmart and Office Depot and Office Max. So you can't get your business cards or pens or pencils or any doggy treats on Thanksgiving Day. But they will be, most of these will be open on Thanksgiving or the Black Friday. But for the most part, these stores are closing down for Thanksgiving. And I think that is that the top 10 employers as far as retail and stuff? Probably. I think that covers a good ground of them. But you know, there's a lot of stores that aren't going to make it through this Black Friday. Now, I'm sure you heard about Forever 21. Now, if you're not familiar with Forever 21, it was, I don't have the news feed here, but Forever 21 was kind of this, not hip store, but it was kind of like if you were like between the ages of like 18 to 28 and you're starting to get into the professional world. And so it's nice clothes at a cheaper price and all that stuff. But the only places that Forever 21 was in malls. Now, I don't know if it was the store that was dying. We know the malls are already dying. So Forever 21 is actually they've put their stake in the ground, and they're saying, you know, that's it. We're going to be done here in the next couple years. So we're packing up our bags and we're packing up our clothes and we're going on to go do something else. Now, here's the thing. Simon, if you're familiar with malls, Simon Industries owns, I think it's like 60% of the malls around this area, around the United States. They said, look, Forever 21, please don't leave. And what we'll do is we'll buy you out for 20 cents on the dollar, and we'll keep your stores open. Now, you can have all your own company or all your own customers, all your own people. You can do all that stuff, but we get a cut off of the top of it. But just keep your stores open because we've already lost Sears. Macy's is closing down, so there's a lot of the flagships that are losing left and right in their malls. You know, you ever seen a mall? If you look at a map of the mall, it's always kind of like, let's say if you have a big X, you always had JCPenney at the top of one X and Sears on the top of the other X, and then the long hallway down to the other side, and you had like Dillard's or Nordstrom. Those were like the flagships. Those were the end of the aisle stores. And Forever 21 was always in there and stuff. And I said to someone the other day, I said, you know what Forever 21 should do is build themselves as a 90s, 2000 type hipster store. If they want these type, now they're not kitschy and stuff, but hipster type clothes. And kind of like what, what's that, Hot Topic kind of geared themselves to all the 80s nostalgia and stuff. I think Forever 21 should be kind of like the 90s nostalgia, but we're not there yet. 90s hasn't gone, it's not far enough away from us in order to be nostalgic yet. But one company is, I saw this coming years ago, and I know everything. This one store right here, people have made fun of it. People have shopped there and bought crazy things there, and that's Bed Bath & Beyond. They are increasing from 40 to 60 stores starting this year that are going to be closing. Now, the company, it says, they own several different other businesses, other stores like Bye Bye Baby, Harmon Face Values, and World Market, which I like World Market. I love that place. And if you're not familiar with World Market, it's kind of like if you see this big old brass elephant that's like 6 feet tall, and you look at the price and it says $1,000 if you buy it today, but in 30 days the price goes down like 10%, and then in 60 days, if it's still there, goes down to 25%, and then if it's still there, it goes down to 40%, and then you pray to God, if it's still there after another 6 months, it's down to 50%, and you can buy this brass elephant for like $500, which is kind of cool. I've got some artifacts, because it looks like an artifacts store. I've got some things here that I bought from World Market that I bought. I think they were like $80. I got them for like $10, waiting for the thing. But Bed Bath & Beyond, they're closing. They have 996 stores right, or I'm sorry, 993 stores right now. And they're getting ready to close 60 of them because it's the internet. The internet is out there, and these stores don't have the internet present for us to buy. I mean, think about it. I mean, just the other day, my wife and I were sitting here at the French, and we're having some electrical work. When I say electrical work, when we had the barn built, we had the standard electrical package put on it: center light, plug, 2 plugs, outlet, and the actual whatever needed to pass inspection, outside panel box outside. So now we've improved. We're using the barn all the time. We have horses here on a daily basis. So we need to have more lighting. We need to have fans. We need to have plugs. We need to have on-off switches and all that stuff. So we had an electrician come out, and he gave us an estimate on wiring everything else that needed to be done. And so he's like, just buy the fixtures. I said, okay. So what do you do when you go to buy fixtures? You literally can't drive. I mean, think of how many stores would carry light fixtures, and the light fixtures that you need for a barn. Now, granted, we're out here in the woods, out here in the sticks. There's there's feed stores and stuff. They don't have barn lights. You know, what kind of light do you need for a barn? People think, oh, I want just a straight down light. No, it's got to be cool. It's got to be nice. It's got to be fancy. It's got to be in style. So sure enough, looked online, found a bunch of lights that we liked, bought those. They're being shipped here to the house. And then you go to find like a wall-mounted fan, nice 20-inch metal fan. You know, if you ever worked in a warehouse, you know, picking orders and stuff, you have these big fans that would kind of like rotate and stuff. Sure enough, they don't have them here on a local level, so you have to buy them online. And that's gone. Well, bought them online, being shipped here to the house. So I can see Bed Bath & Beyond would be the same thing. Do you need a bed? Do you need something beyond? Well, go online and get it. So Bed Bath & Beyond is closing about 60 more stores, up 20 from the 40 they predicted at the beginning of the year. So I hope you don't have stock in them, because that is going away soon. Now, when we come back, I'm going to get into something that needs to go away, and that is this weather. It's too hot. It's too hot in October. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Here, I'll switch this so you can see what I'm doing. I accidentally hit this thing all the time. Open up. All right. Ready? Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, and you can get all our social contacts from that, and you can follow us at all times. You want to take your experience a little further here at Deacon Live? Well, guess what? You can go to prophetradio.com and become a member and support the show. When I say support the show, we're going to be in New York. We're doing our live summer-fall tour up in New York, and we'll be up there for a week and so. And you can follow up what we're doing, catch the live feeds, catch the pictures, catch the live broadcasts and stuff from up there in Long Island, New York. Yep, we're going to go up there and help them bring in the fall weather. And the way you do that is to go to the members only page on Prophet Radio and jump on that, and you can see all the cool stuff that we do out there. So, cool stuff. If we had cool stuff here in Charlotte, North Carolina, we would be okay. Now, would we not? Now, I know people all over the United States are complaining about the heat. That the one Greta person, Thunberg or whatever her name is, complaining about, world climate change and all that stuff. So one thing that I want to say about that, not that it means anything or any point of it, but what it is, I watch the news every morning. This phone is going to drive me nuts here. Hold on. Need a better adapter for that. So I watch the news every morning with my wife, and we catch the weather, we catch the traffic report, we do all that stuff. Now, a very, very entertaining gentleman on our news, our morning forecast, our morning station, whatever we watch Fox News. All right, I know everyone's like, oh, Fox News, Fox News. You know what? For the most part, our Fox News morning, just like your Fox News morning, it's light and fluffy. They get to the, the candy pieces and stuff, and they get a little serious, but they don't give their opinion about it for the most part, but they only tell you the serious stuff that they want you to. Anyway, I'm spiraling here. Nick Koser. We watch him. He's great. You probably saw him at the Video Music Awards this past 2019. The guy in the very beginning with the cowboy hat on, giving the weather prediction on, was it Old Town Road? Yep, that's Nick Koser. That's ours. We claim him here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, one thing that he said the other day was in Charlotte, North Carolina, we average... in a year's time, we're talking about the heat and stuff now, because he's not weather forecaster. Didn't they used to be called that? Now they call him meteorologist. Hey, look at that. So the meteorologist, Nick Koser, is he was saying that, this time of year, we normally have anywhere from 45 to 50 days of temperatures above 90 degrees. When I say above 90 degrees or more. 45 to 50 days in a year. Now, we're going into March, and we're going into October, marching into October, and we're already at, let's see what he said. He said we're at 75 days of temperatures in the Charlotte area that are above 90 degrees. Now, you might think that's a lot compared to what we're normally having, but the record for the Charlotte area is 88. So 88 days above 90 degrees in 1 year cycle, a fiscal year, January to December. Now, in comparison, unfortunately, I know I was talking about LA earlier. I don't want to, because we're 82 all the time in LA, and we might get a rainstorm, but we just hide for a little bit for 20 minutes, and then it goes away, and then the sun comes out, and everyone's beautiful, and we walk around, and anyways, if it was hot out there, all the plastic would melt. Wink, wink. Get what I'm saying? So, in Florida, Orlando, that's my hometown. Just to give you an idea, in Florida, Orlando, well, I'm switch screens here. So much going on. So, in Florida, the average number of days above 90 degrees in Orlando is 105. That means out of 365 days in a year, only 105 of those, on average, are above 90 degrees. Now, the annual temperature is 72 degrees for the whole entire year. The average high is 82. The average low is 62. So it's right there in the middle. So when Orlando says, or Florida says, it's hot, and it's a different heat, it's a humidity, I understand that. It's humid up here in North Carolina, believe me. It's the same heat. It's just that we have about maybe 40 less days than you do up there or down there in Florida. So I understand that. It's hot for 100 days. What's 100 days? 100 days is 4 months? 5 months? 4 months. About 4 months. And sometimes it just feels like forever, right? And one thing that feels like forever is Facebook. Now, I think at the beginning of the year, they had the whole, the Facebook, show us the first picture you put on Facebook and the last picture you put on Facebook. Now, and that was the whole 10-year thing. And something that I've noticed and I've seen, and it just, I worry about a lot of people out there. I say I worry about a lot of people. You ever seen like pictures of high school friends or even, people that just like in passing and stuff, and they don't post pictures of themselves, or they only post like pictures from their neck up or their neck down and all this stuff. And I'm guilty of doing the same thing. Women do that a lot. They only post like their cleavage line up to their head because they don't want you to see that I'm not the same shape as I was in 10 years ago in 2009 when I had my Facebook account, or actually 2005 if you were on in 2005, but for the most part in 2009, you can see that the pictures, if you watch the progression of the way you took pictures in 2009, kind of started around your waistline or like around your knees, full body shots. And then 2010, 2011 comes around, you kind of crop that down just a little bit. And then 2012, 2014 comes around, you kind of crop that down just a little bit more. And for most men will just, if they see receding hair, I'm right here on the YouTube channel, you can see my receding hairline and thinning hair and all the stuff that I got going on. But for the most part, then you see anyone who's vain, and vain, by the way, is one of the 7 deadly sins or whatever the Bible tells you. It's ridiculous. But people live that way. And then you see the image get a little smaller. And then you see, that they start cropping and cutting and cutting and cropping. And, because you don't want the world to see you this way because you're embarrassed, you're ashamed. And I understand that. Believe me, I understand that greatly. And I'm going to talk about this one gentleman, and I'm not going to give his name or anything, but a good friend of mine that I had on Facebook, and he was a tall, skinny kid, full head of hair, played basketball, did all this stuff, and looked great. Found him on Facebook, however many years we've been out of high school. So let's say 20 some odd years out of high school, and then found him on Facebook, and then saw him recently, and he's great. He's got a great family. He's got 3 kids. They go out and do a bunch of stuff. He's married. He's got a great job. It looks like it takes him all over the world and stuff. But I never saw a picture of him. And then I saw you see a picture of him. And I talked about this before. You see a picture of someone and you're like going, oh my God, at least they look healthy. Now he's bald. Literally like bald. And he's probably, in the 280 range as far as weight. And he was a skinny little kid that barely weighed 150 pounds in high school. But, when you encourage that, you praise them. Hey, you look good, man. You look good. You're living life and stuff. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, heart, 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 heart. I started seeing more pictures and more pictures of this person coming around. Like, hey, I'm not ashamed of what I look like. Now, granted, there's a health issue and a shame issue. If it's a health issue, that's one thing. But if it's a shame issue, get over yourself. We all get older. I've said this a million times. We all get older. We all get slower. And the things that we used to do when we were, 14, 15, 20, 22, 27 years old is not what we're doing when we're 30, 32, 37 years old. So I just wanted to say that. But you can see, you worry about, we start not seeing pictures of people all the time. And then sometimes, I mean, honestly, let's be honest. Sometimes you see a picture and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't just throw that up there. You can't just throw that up there after not seeing pictures of you for 5 years. You got to gradually get us into that. But I praise all you that are brave enough to take full body shots. I'll do full body shots at the bar. No, I was kidding. But I mean, full body shots as far as I do all the time here at the French. If you follow us on Facebook and stuff, you see it all the time. So, I mean, that's... But it's real. It's real. I mean, you kind of sit there and go, okay, I haven't seen this person in a while, and you click and look and look and click. I don't know. Oops, what am I doing? There we go. And one more thing. One more thing. What? I'm going to take one more short little break, and when we come back, I'm gonna get into the little bit of the funny to carry over till next podcast. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Deacon Live. Make sure you become a member of the Deacon Live podcast, and the way you do that is to go to prophetradio.com and sign up for that, and you can see all the behind the scenes stuff. When I say behind the scenes stuff, the stuff we do in between each podcast. And we're going live, and actually we're doing a live fall tour over in the New York area. We're going up to Longwood. We're going to Longwood, Long Island, North Carolina. If I can get my streets, if I can get my states and streets and everything together, I can figure it out. We're going up to Deacon Live. Can't even get the name of the show right. Deacon Live is going to Long Island, New York for the fall festival push that they have in Long Island for all the short stores. I'll edit all that stuff out. I'm just going to delete it. That was horrible. Not even worth fixing. You guys get it though now. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all our social networks and stuff, and make sure you go and become a member of the Deacon Live podcast. And the way you do that is go to prophetradio.com and go under the members only section and sign up for that. And what that gets you is all the bad calls that we get here to the studio, as far as like from telemarketers. I try to keep them on the line, and all the pictures and stuff that we kind of post that kind of goes with each podcast and stuff we do on a daily basis, and also get you the live feeds and live stuff that we do. We're getting ready to go up to New York, Long Island, New York for the fall festivals up there. We're going to be up there for a week. I think we got 6 locations that we're going to be at, so that should be fun, and the weather will be cooler up there, hopefully, as well. Now, cool heads will prevail. And the reason why I say that is this one young lady, she's probably maybe 2, 3 years, no, I'm going to say she's about 3 years old. She's in daycare, and she must have gotten in trouble, and the person at the daycare was trying to tell her that she's in timeout. You've been a bad little girl, and you need to be in timeout. And listen to the child actually argue with the person, the keeper at the daycare center. You ready?
You in jail and time out.
Well, let me tell you this, Linda.
My name ain't Linda. So you sit right there and time out, little bad little girl.
No, let me tell you something.
No, don't tell me.
If I wasn't here, I would surely take a day off from you, and then a day off from these kids. I'm around the classroom. I'm just done with you.
I'm done with you too, but you in time out.
Oh, let me tell you something, honey. This is not gonna leave.
You gonna be in time out?
Oh.
That's why you in time out right now.
I think so.
I think so.
Well, when I get up out of town and go to bed, I will be glad to go home and enjoy the rest of my life.
So, She said, Linda, listen, I don't need to be in timeout. No, you need to be in timeout. You're a bad little girl. Hey, I don't know. I run this joint. I run this school. No, you don't. You're a bad little girl. That's why you're in timeout. Listen, I don't care. When I get up out of here, I wouldn't be around these kids. I'm going to go home and enjoy the rest of my life. And she's like, yeah, you do that. And you know the little girl heard that attitude, that almost the dialect itself from someone, whether it be her mom or sister, older sister, or someone. I don't know if she saw anything like that on TV. She's too young to actually sit there and watch TV and understand what's coming off the screen. Or maybe she did. But it's funny to sit there and watch her. And if you're watching this on the YouTube stream, you could see a little girl saying, listen, Linda. And she's like, my name ain't Linda. So I thought that was a hoot. She had a little attitude, a little snap to her, a little neck roll and everything. She was doing good. And one thing before I let you go, get back to what you got to do. One of my guilty pleasures and one of my dark secrets is, and there's a story behind this. Now, I went to Oak Ridge High School in Orange County, Florida. And our rival school was Dr. Phillips High School. And we would go to Dr. Phillips High School. I was never invited to the Oak Ridge High School parties. I was always invited to the Dr. Phillips High School parties. For whatever reason, I knew more people over there. I knew Wayne Brady. I knew Johnny Damon and all those guys. I know. Am I throwing names out there? Am I baller? Am I a baller? No, not really. Hold on. Let me switch screens there. So, and there's more people that I've known between both schools, but for the most part, most of my parties were drawn to the Dr. Phillips area. Now, we went to this one party, and I met this guy, this kid at the time, and didn't think anything of him. He's kind of weird kid, kind of loner, just kind of sat around, one of those kids with a little notebook in his hand. And then, come to find out, fast forward, I think 15 years later, he ended up being the lead singer of Creed. And I don't know if you remember the story, or the VH1 behind the story or behind the music. They started showing pictures of like Creed when they first started coming out, and Scott Stapp and all that stuff. And most of the pictures were him at parties. And I'm like going, I was at the, I'm thinking, that's me. That's me in the background. I remember being at these parties. I remember, the carpet, the ugly carpet that they had. I remember this kid just sitting with his back against the wall. And there was a bunch of other stories that I knew about the party. But for the most part, I was there. I was at these parties. So I never really talked to Scott when we were kids growing up. His mom actually taught me, in summer school, not that I took summer school because I failed. I was taking summer school to achieve more. I took Spanish 2 over the summer, and she was my Spanish teacher, I believe. I think it was her. Spanish 1 or 2, I forget. And she, and then, behind the music, there she is on the screen. I'm like, oh my God, that's my Spanish teacher. That was my teacher at Dr. Phillips when I had to take summer school over there. So there's always that little personal connection that I had with the band Creed, because I was like, everyone hates them. I was like, you know what? It got outside of the corniness or whatever they were. I thought the guitars. I'm a big guitar guy. They had big guitars, and I liked them. I liked listening to the big guitar. So I tell you that to tell you this. So now he's left the band, and Tremonti has gone on to go on with forget his name, Miles Kennedy, sorry, and Slash, and they've gone on and do all their things and stuff. Now Scott Stapp has done a bunch of different albums by himself, local with his own band, and I kind of followed him a little bit more. I liked his voice. I liked the way he sung, his style. Not that I could care about his own personal beliefs and all that stuff. Is it God? Is it not God? No, but I mean, if music inspires you to be a better person, inspires you to live a different way of lifestyle, or if you're down and you want something to escape from, by all means, who cares where it comes from? So a good friend of ours on Facebook has posted the Scott Stapp was up in Jacksonville, Florida, and I guess this is his tour that he's going on promoting his new album. Now, think about it. Creed was a huge band selling stadiums, selling out arenas, selling out all these big venues. Now, here, I hate to say this, but it looks like he's in like a high school auditorium, gymnasium, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask the guy that recorded the video, but this is the Scott Stapp group, I guess, or the band in Jacksonville, Florida. You tell me what you think.
Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. You ready? All right.
So he's ending one song. He's going to go into Higher. So he's ending one song and going straight into the song Higher. He's waving to the audience like he's in a boy band, like left to right. He's in good shape. He's got a tight haircut. A little pudgy, but he's older. He's my age. And he just stops. Kind of awkward transition. Light show, not that good. I can't tell if it's him singing bad or the guy recording the video. His one guitarist, all right, I won't kill you anymore. His one guitarist, if you're watching this on the video here, the one guitarist looks like the guy from The Boys, the guy with the Irish bloke, or he's got the black spiky hair and stuff. The main guy. So yeah, that's Scott Creed. That's what he should change his name to. That'd be awesome. But it's Scott Stapp, and it looks like he's on stage at a almost like a battle of the bands. Like the lights are there's no trusses hanging up overhead. All the lights are on like columns and stuff. I guess they can't afford to pay a rigging crew, which would make sense. But I mean, for the most part, there's Scott Stapp in Jacksonville. He's on tour for whatever album he's promoting right now. Well, I'd like to thank all you guys for listening to us and putting up with me for the last hour or so. I'll let you get back to what you're doing. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all our social network pages, and all the stuff that we do. For the you didn't see the video? Did you see the video? I'll post it somewhere. On behalf of myself, my name is the Deacon saying good night and good night.
Boo! 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 Oh no. Wait! Come back!
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. You ready? All right. We're gonna sing one more time together, my friends. Come on. 'Cause when you are